Hello and warm welcome to our today's call. My name is Natalie and I'm so excited to be your host to this very exciting conversation. Today we have a very special guest, Angelina Fabian. Angelina is a very great human design expert, holistic analyst, and rave psychologist. She is known for her transformative work using the human design system, helping individuals discover their true nature and process past traumas. As a manifesting generator with emotional authority, Angelina has over 13 years of experience in exploring and applying human design, and she has inspired and guided thousands of people around the world. In our today's talk, we will explore the human design profiles of the presidential candidate Donald Trump and his supporter Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Together with Angelina, we'll analyze their design profiles, uncover what makes them unique, how they approach the Es ist schlimm. Okay.
Gut, das ist super. Aha.
Together with Angelina, we will analyze their design profiles, uncover what makes them unique, how they approach decision making, and the key traits that define them. I'm so excited to dive deep with Angelina into the design of these two very important, for the US, very important people, and discover how their strange weaknesses and potentials are reflected in their public personas and decision making. So, hello, Angelina.
Hello, my sweet dear Natalie. Thank you.
Angelina, as a human design expert, what can we learn about Trump's and Kennedy's personalities and leadership styles from their design profiles?
We're gonna dive in a minute into their designs. I just want to explain what human design is, maybe to people that are new to human design. Human design is a synthesis of old science and new science, and it helps us really to look into a genetic blueprint, not through religion or spirituality, but really through this lens of genetics and biochemistry, and then look at someone and look at them, at their strengths, as you mentioned, also at their pitfalls, maybe, or Achilles heels, and what comprises their personality and who they are and how they are perceived through other people or through society. And through that human design lens that is based a lot on genetics, we are going to explore Trump and Bobby. First, you're going to look at Trump. You're going to see their designs in a second. And then we are going to look at Bobby, who's his supporter, who's not running for president anymore. And then we will look at synergies of the two of them. How could they support the US government? And of course, and the president of a country also has an impact on other country and also the world. So they are not minor characters in the world, but are very important. And I want to mention also beforehand, I want to look at those two people with deep respect. I'm not going to trash anyone. It's already not easy to be a celebrity, so to speak, or to be outside in the world and have those, be famous and be known. And it also applies to Bobby Kennedy and also to Trump. So they already get a shit storm of critique and media and everything, and we want to look at them, both of them, with respect through the genetic human design lens, and we're not gonna trash them, but because human design allows me really to look into the soul, so to speak, of a human being, and to their weaknesses and to their strength, and on a genetic level. So I'm not gonna abuse a system to trash anyone, but I want to use that system for people to understand themselves, and because those are people who are standing on the Bühne des Lebens.
A stage of life.
Who are standing on the stage of life, I want to help people understand them, who they are and what are their strengths, and to get to know them beyond social media and projection and propaganda. So that's what we are doing today. And please as you can hear, please be compassionate with us and a little bit of patience also with us, because as you can hear, English is not our native language. We are multilingual, and at the same time, we want to share that with the English-speaking people in the world, this analysis of Trump and Kennedy. And we hope you enjoy our analysis. Get some popcorn and start listening. So, sweet people all over the world, this is the chart of Donald Trump, and this is the chart of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And it's like, you can imagine that we take the genome of this person and translate it into this graph. And this graph allows me to look on a deep, deep level into the personality of a person and also their design, their unconscious aspect of them. And what you can see, we have this body graph in the middle if you're new to human design, and we have 9 centers. Those have specific frequencies. They stand, for example, here we have the instinct, here we have the voice, here is the mind, here is the emotionality, here is the pressure in life, here is willpower or not. And so, as you can see, those 2 charts look very different from each other. And for example, this is Donald Trump. Here you can see the name. He is a very willful and person who has a lot of willpower. Not so much Robert F. Kennedy. And what I love about original human design, we're also doing the original human design, not the pop human design, black market human design, the dumbed down and diluted version. But the original human design is celebrating uniqueness. Is not homogenizing people and telling them you're good or bad. It shows them their light and their not self, their light and their shadows, so to speak. But it's not trashing people, and it's tries to help people to understand themselves and celebrate their uniqueness and live it. And so there is not good or bad, better or worse. It's just different. And so Donald Trump and also Kennedy are very different from each other. And so if they support each other and Kennedy supports Trump, they can, by supporting each other and being so different in a synergy, create also a unified government. What is, as far as I've understood, also the vision of Bobby Kennedy, of people working together, the government working together for people and not working against each other just to win. It's about serving the people. And they're both here in their different, unique way to serve the people. And so what you see is, so to speak, the genome translated of Trump into this graph and of Bobby Kennedy into this graph. And let's start out with Donald Trump first. We have in human design something we call profile. Yeah, we have 12 profiles, and it's kind of the costume that you wear in your life and how people see you. And he has a 1-3 profile, and it's the investigating martyr. That's how we call it. And this profile represents the investigating martyr. And where Trump is really driven to understand things deeply, he needs a good foundation, and then test those insights through trial and error. So Trump is perfect to sift through a system and see everything that's not working and see where the foundation is not working. And so he's a genius in that, and it's just his genetic blueprint. That's who he is. That's how he is supposed to live, and that's how life wanted him to see at systems and to see systems that do not work. And so he sees a lot what's not working, and to see how to create a good foundation for things to work on the financial level, on the family level, or government level. It doesn't matter where he works. And Donald Trump is also a manifesting generator. Manifesting generators are quick, and they have a lot of energy, and they love to bring people together for a bigger cause. And isn't it interesting? Donald Trump is still running for president, and there is Kennedy who is supporting him. And of course, not only Kennedy, he's a free, how is it called in English? Free Democrat, and Trump is a Republican. And he has this, even a Democrat in his system or in his campaign to support this bigger vision, to show what everything is not working and how to create a good foundation for America to blossom. And so he's good at multitasking. Donald Trump, I mean, he has an empire of a business and a family and is running for president. You need energy to do that. And manifesting generators, and Donald Trump is one, are very good and at juggling things and juggling many responsibilities. And by the way, sweet people all over the world, below the video, you can find a link where you can get your own personal unique human design chart calculated by us. So you can then check out your chart, your profile, your type. You will talk a little bit also about other aspects of the design, and it's about 20 pages. So you can get that and be inspired and get to know yourself, and can also compare what do you have maybe in common with Trump and also with Kennedy. And Donald Trump is really a huge personality. He's bold, he's strong, he's loud, and he's made for leadership. He has kind of the king archetype. We have here those lines that you see between the centers. We call them either channels or gates. So he is the king, so to speak. We have this gate 45. It's here also in his notes. So it's really his trajectory in life to be this ruler, to be this, have this leadership. It's just part of his genetics and path of life based on genetics. And he has this, as I mentioned, this king archetype, and he embodies this energy of a king with a dominant ego, meant to lead and command and make decisions that serve a community. And I mean, that's who he is. He built like that his huge empire of a business. It's an empire. It's not a little tiny business somewhere, and nothing against tiny little businesses, but it's really congruent with his chart to be this huge king who wants to serve the community, where it's also a lot about money. He is good with money, and we see that. And it's just simply his design. And he thrives also in a position of power and exudes a strong sense of authority. It's just his design. Kennedy is more humble when he appears because he has, for example, an open ego. He's not so dominant. But Trump is, and there it's not good or bad, better or worse, but just different. And who someone is based on their genetic blueprint, and embody it and be it and be proud of it and enjoy it. So he's a very dominant person, Donald Trump. And I mean, we see that also in media. And Robert F. Kennedy is more humble. And they are both great leaders in their own unique way. There's no better or worse. And he's also, I mean, Trump is a polarizing figure. His 1-3 profile that we already mentioned often positions him as someone who sees the flaws in systems, making him either being loved by someone or being hated. And that's really, he polarizes. Either people love him and say, oh, he's gonna save America, or people hate them. There's little in between, and it's also typical for 1-3 profile, because a 1-3 profile is here to stand up and tell us, look, that's bullshit. We have to change that. The foundation is shitty. We have to change that. We have to destroy this foundation because it's not working. We have to build something new. It's just his genetic job, so to speak. And as we mentioned, Trump has a defined ego. It's an ego center. It gives him really a lot of resilience, also as a 1-3 profile, and with willpower. He's very stubborn. He has immense willpower, especially when it comes to making deals, managing finances, and creating structures that serve his vision. His ego pushes him to demand recognition and assert his leadership. That is Trump. And Trump doesn't care if you like him or not. He has a big fat ego, dear Mr. Trump, and I hope you enjoy it because it's just who you are. And that's also what you exude when you talk, when he talks. I mean, he has this ego. He doesn't care. It doesn't touch him a lot, or it doesn't influence him too much. And he has a lot of, his design is literally genetically made for financial expertise. Trump has a unique ability to manage resources and finances. He's genetically made to do that, aligning with his history as a successful businessman. And his financial acumen is a key aspect of his leadership and style. And he also wants to help people financially and to help America financially. I mean, that's just his design. And he has a capital mindset. I mean, he's a capitalist, and we have such a negative image of capitalism because everything that is outside either love or God or capitalism or power is so abused, those words and those frequencies. So whenever we hear capitalism, it's a negative mindset. It's a negative frequency, but it's about embodying a positive capitalist frequency and mindset, so to speak. And he could do that. It's about win-win-win for everyone. He's really deeply, with his design, embedded in the capitalist structure, aiming for financial gain, but his purpose is to use wealth for the betterment of others if channeled correctly. So he has also this capacity. And he's also amazing at crisis management and an authority in crisis management. He's born to juggle and to resolve crises. His design makes him really an expert in managing crises, often provoking situations to create change and growth, because a crisis serves to make people growth, to make the government growth. He will provoke a crisis in the people, but he will make them see, look, we have a crisis. We cannot put shit under the carpet. We have to address it. We have to look at it to be able to change it. That's who he is genetically. And for people who are maybe also new to human design, I'm talking about his design. I don't know Donald Trump in deep respect. I might know something from social media and media in general, but it's always distorted. What I'm talking here about is about his genetic blueprint. That's what we are sharing here with you guys in this video. So he will provoke a crisis, make people see where there's a crisis, but also bring the solution, change, and growth when there's something highly dysfunctional. It's just his genetic job, so to speak. He's also in his design a boundary breaker, like an icebreaker, or a boundary defender. Trump's approach to issues like, for example, US-Mexico border stems from his desire to combat human trafficking. And few people know about it, but he is on the forefront to also put an end to human trafficking, especially with this US-Mexico border, because if there is no border, there is no control. And Trump is about control. He's about having clear boundaries to protect also the country and also people, especially women and children, who suffer through human trafficking. And that's, as I said, is not often mentioned in social media or in media in general. And we have something also in human design that is called our cross of incarnation. That's how we fulfill our destiny. And he has the cross of Eden. Trump's design shows he's here to bring humanity closer to an ideal of the Eden state, so to speak, that it's looked after us, that life's looked after us, and that we get out of this survival mode. And he's focused really in his design on confronting what's wrong in the world and offering a path to survive out of survival and improvement. That's his design. And he has also a defined throat. And it gives him really a lot of power. He's loud. He's not afraid to speak his opinion and his mind and his ego. And he dominates a room when he's talking. Kennedy might be a little bit insecure in his voice, about speaking and speaking up, but you can literally not stop Trump. It's just his design, while Trump is dominating the room with everything he has to say, with his ideas and his opinions, and what we need to build to have a good foundation and what we need to destroy to have a good foundation and rebuild. Kennedy is very wise with his open throat. He might be at times insecure of how to communicate. And is often initiated from the outside to speak his unique mind, but he can also be very wise about manipulation, about propaganda, about the narratives that we have in social media and media in general, where people get manipulated. That's where, for example, Bobby Kennedy is very, very wise. So again, they're both very different, but both have their uniqueness that can serve people. And as you mentioned before, also with Trump, he has a defined solar plexus. So people with a defined solar plexus, they put shit on the table. They normally don't put shit under the carpet, and they're more resistant to criticism because they're also with his emotionally defined solar plex and also his defined ego. He doesn't care what people think about him. He's resilient to emotional attacks. He's resilient to attacks against his personality, his persona, and when people think he's shitty. He's more resilient and more connected to his willpower and also to him just knowing who he is and giving a fuck, if I may say that way, on video and on the internet, on YouTube, what people think about him. He just has a strong, very, very strong persona, very dominating persona. Now, sweet people, let's look to Robert Kennedy's chart, Robert Kennedy Jr. I mean, I could talk about Donald Trump charts like for hours and hours and hours. I always jokingly say I can talk about a design for 3 days, but we don't have 3 days here on YouTube, and we want just to give you a glimpse and an idea about human design and also the personalities. And maybe I would like to share something. For example, this is the holistic view of Donald Trump. Yeah, I can see how his brain works. I can see how he's supposed to eat. I can see where's the better environment for him to thrive. I can see his Netflix film, so to speak, how he sees through which lens he sees and filters the world. And I can see his motivation. And his motivation is hope. He's here to bring people hope on a level. And there are enough people to whom he gives hope. And I mean, it's not an easy task and an easy job to be the president of any freaking country, because often there are people in the background who pull the triggers and have control. So much information that we get about presidents, about people, about celebrities, let's call them in the bigger context, it's just propaganda and manipulation. And so, but he has like this motivation of hope. So he can see where there is hope, where something is hopeful, and where there is no hope. He can see that too. And so he can give people a lot of hope when he's correct. Of course, I mean, when we see a design, it's as I said, it could say so many things about a design, but every design has a unique strategy and authority. And for Trump, he's here to the strategy to respond to life with his sacral response, and his authority, they belong together, is to over time to really take his time to not be too spontaneous, to not initiate, but to respond and then take the time to feel things out, to find clarity. What is the next step, either in his business or with his son or with him running for president. So, dear Donald Trump, just take your time to feel, and you will feel less nervous, and you will have more clarity and in making the right decisions. You have time. And now let's look to Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy has a different profile. If you remember, we said Donald Trump has a 1-3 profile. Bobby Kennedy is a 2-4 profile. We have in total 12 different profiles. For example, Natalie, she is a 6-2 profile. She's the fool on the hill, so to speak. And I am the 5-1 profile. I am the heretic who goes against the grain and says also things, well, I'm the general, so to speak, in my design. I say things that also do not work, and how to get out of crisis and how to find collective transpersonal solutions. We have all our unique place in the totality of this beautiful universe and this life on earth. And if we just surrender to our design and really embody it, we serve each other and totality. And that's what human design is about. And we serve each other through our uniqueness, and not how we think we should be and who we should be, but embodying who we already are and allow it to blossom. So Bobby Kennedy. So he's a 2-4 profile. We call it the hermit opportunity. I'm sorry, English is not our native language. Opportunist. And so Kennedy operates from a place of personal inner calling, and you can feel that. He's called to do that. It's not just a job. He's called to help people. He's called to mutate the network. He's called to show where there is bureaucracy or where there are laws that are not correct and are not filled with integrity and not helping people. He's also, for example, both, by the way, challenging this whole vaccination system and propaganda and telling people, look, just read the paper. It's not that they invent something. Read the paper of the vaccine. Look how much health issues it can create and make people aware. So he's here to really, you can feel it, he's called to go on this journey. And he even mentioned in some interview that it's a spiritual journey for him. And he has also this gate 61 here, where it's like about trying to understand life and live your own truth. It has an affinity to mysticism and spirituality. And he calls this journey where he feels called to, that's the 2-4 profile, to serve people and to serve humanity. And it's beautiful to see that. And it's not about idealizing them or trashing them. We are all humans and we are all have our shadows, our pains, our not selves. It's about also showing what they're capable of. Donald Trump and also Bobby Kennedy, and they have both beautiful designs and how they can serve the US government and also in the bigger context, the world. And Bobby Kennedy is a pure generator. And Trump is a manifesting generator. I am also a manifesting generator, and Natalie is a pure generator. And a pure generator, those are people who go step by step by step by step to reach mastery. That's where you are, guys, good at. We manifesting generators, we often skip steps that we feel are not correct, or not correct, but not important. So to reach our goal faster, we are all about efficiency. So Trump is about efficiency, and Kennedy is about mastering systems, mastering something. I mean, when they work together, they could really help people. And so Trump has also this missionary network design. Missionary is like a metaphor. He has this inner calling, like when a missionary is called to bring something into the world and entice people with it. When they burn for something, when they feel called by life and called out by other people. And that is totally Bobby Kennedy. You can sense that he has this capacity, that it has this frequency and aura, and through that he can really then influence his network and help people and really mutate. He can influence his network and show them and inspire them and mutate and change their perspective, how to do things better, in a better way. And he, compared with Trump, he's an ego-less leader. Trump is an ego leader. He is an ego-less leader. Unlike Trump, Kennedy has no defined ego, making him less focused on asserting power and more inclined to serve the greater good. So one is about power, and that's correct for him, and the other not so much. And they could work perfectly together when they are correct for each other. And he's really aiming to reform societal structures for the benefits of humanity. And of course, in the first place, the benefits of the US government and the people there. And in a positive, Bobby Kennedy has something that is called the corrupt judge. And I know if I say that in the beginning, it sounds, oh, the corrupt judge, but please listen what I mean by that. I will give you a metaphor. We have, as an example, that's not Bobby Kennedy, an example, we have a corrupt judge, just imagine it, in the court, and he uses the system to not to serve people, but to corrupt people, to gain money, for example. But we have the other corrupt judge who corrupts the system because it sees the system is flawed to serve humanity. And that's the good corrupt judge. And that's who Bobby Kennedy is. He has this frequency. He's here to see, oh my gosh, the system is corrupt. And I mean, he's also a lawyer. He's working in that field, or has been working in that field. So he sees that the system is corrupt and that it needs to be changed, corrupted, changed, so that it can serve the greater good and serve other people. So we have also this quality in Bobby Kennedy that is so visible and in so many interviews, and how he leads his life. And he has really this intuitive awareness, what values are good, for example, in a family, in the government, for the people. Therefore, he really desires to have a union government, not against each other, but together for the greater good. And he has this sense, what are these values that we should build a government on, or build a country on, to have a better future. That's the corrupt judge quality in Bobby Kennedy. And that's, I mean, it's beautiful. And in his design is a huge focus on humanitarian issues. Kenny is deeply committed to human rights, especially around issues like vaccines and health issues. And he's really here to provoke and challenge the large power structures like pharmaceutical companies. And that's what he's doing. That's literally his design, in him living his design. His design includes aspects and activations that encourage him to provoke the status quo. For example, here 34, and the corrupt judge is here to show people, look, it's not working. We have to change it. The status quo is killing the country, is killing the people. And therefore, he got the label of being a conspiracy theorist, because while he's not a conspiracy theorist, but he has really this design that wants genuinely help to reform corrupt systems. I mean, how amazing would it be if the two of them with their capacities would work together? So you will find a link below the video if you're already on the website, or if you're watching it at YouTube, there's a link below where you will find the link where I list even more qualities and aspects of Donald Trump and also Bobby Kennedy. But for this video, we want to keep it not too long. So let's also look at the end of the combined potential of Trump and Kennedy together, because Trump is cut. Because Kennedy's not running anymore for president, but Trump still does, rerunning for president, and Kennedy supports them. So what is their capacity? What is their beauty? What is their strength together? So Trump's financial expertise versus Kennedy's humanitarian vision. I mean, that would serve America so greatly. Trump excels in financial management and creating secure structures in a system, while Kennedy focuses on reforming unjust law and protecting human rights. I mean, to have that in a president or a union government is amazing. Together, they could combine Trump's economic strength with Kennedy's deep sense of justice. I mean, don't you want to have that in a government? That's what it means to serve people. So much. And they have shared crisis management skills. And I mean, crisis is part of life. Both have the ability to navigate crisis. Trump through financial and structural crisis, Kennedy through legal and societal reforms. And their combined skill, again, set makes them powerful in addressing both economic and humanitarian challenges. That's what they bring together when they would work together. And it's about, they have, so to speak, they bring together law and order and spiritual guidance a little bit. Trump's cross of Eden that we mentioned before drives him to create order and security so that we go back to Garden Eden, where we are looked after, where we don't have to be stuck in the survival mode, because he's aware we are kicked out of Garden Eden, so to speak. We have to struggle, we have to survive, we are disconnected. While Kennedy's spiritual journey encourages reform and progress. Together, they represent a synergy of stability and transformation. And they could really create positive capitalism with a cause, with purpose, and with serving people. Both men have capitalist tendencies. I can show it to you. For example, it's here, and they have literally a channel together. So it's about really money and values and really helping and supporting the US country that it can thrive on a financial level. So both men have capitalist tendencies, but with different focuses. Trump on wealth building, Kennedy on using resources for humanitarian efforts. And their partnership could lead to a more ethical form of capitalism, what we need more in the world, where capitalism doesn't abuse and use people and resources and the earth, but serves the earth, the people, and the communities. That's the awakened, enlightened, the true form of capitalism, not the shadow form of capitalism. The two of them could balance the old system and the new system. Trump represents the old guard with experience in leadership and wealth. I mean, that's Trump. While Kennedy embodies the new wave of synergy and collaboration, and especially as we are moving in 2027 into a new 400-year cycle for humanity. So they have this complementary leadership that they combine. Yeah, Trump is very assertive in his leadership, and Kennedy is more subtle, more egoless, more humble, maybe. And they create a dynamic where they could tackle issues both top-down, Trump, and grassroots Kennedy approaches. So it's really, I find it interesting that they work together and support each other, because really, indeed, also from the human design level, looking at their genetic mechanics, it's an amazing communion. It's for sure not perfect. No one is perfect, not Donald, not Kennedy, no human on this planet, but it could be a great synergy to serve people. And they both have a common vision for reform, because both recognize the dysfunction in the current systems on many, many levels. They see that, whether it's power structures, economic disparities, or human rights violations. While Trump might tackle these issues through direct confrontation, look, there is shit. Kennedy approaches more reformative, more friendlier, maybe, focusing on dismantling unjust laws and implementing fair governance. I mean, wouldn't you want that in a president? And I find it beautiful that they have those two axes that they bring together to serve people. And this joint leadership would really, I feel like, create a new era of politics, not working against, not the governments working against each other since the Roman times. How was it called? Separate and rule. When we separate people, we can rule them, but it's really time, it's an era to have new ways of leadership where we work together for the greater good and not against each other and being stuck in mindfuck. And so it would be an amazing synergy of justice and balanced power, and really mentioning and showing where the system is corrupt and creating new foundations, how to resolve that. Yeah, I mean, I love that. I have never been into politics, never my whole life. But for some reason, my inner strategy and authority had felt like compelled or responded to do that. We already did that in the German language, because they're both native languages is German, and people. Some people, let's say most people loved it, and they liked it that we addressed it in such a direct and honest way and not trashing the people. And so we hope that it helps you English-speaking people too, and to see how much potential these people have, and also, but to see how much human design can reveal about a person and help really to understand yourself and help you to access your beautiful God-given, genetic given potentials and shine it brightly into the world. How was it for you, my sweet dear?
It was so interesting, and I love the way you speak about both of them, because I feel the humanity through your words, And
Oh,
it's it's so nice to listen to you every time again and again.
thank you. Yeah, I like the word that you just mentioned. It's seeing also their humanity, and their potential. And of course, they have weaknesses. Of course, they have maybe shadows, or we call it in the human design world, they're not self, where they might not be correct. But we all have that. And when we look at that with compassion, we can overcome it, not judge it, not like say you're bad and you're evil and you're that. We have all our shadows. We have all our dark sides or not true self sides. And yes, I love also human design. That's when I work with people, or when we started with Natalie to look at people shown in the media that are controversial and that shown maybe in a certain light that is very negative. Like, for example, Donald Trump is often shown very negative, but to show his humanness, to show his potential. And I mean, there are people in the world who are really evil and who really do bad things, but Donald Trump and Kennedy, they both have their shadows, but I like also to show there is humanness in them, and there is something that wants to serve. Like, for example, that Donald Trump is really, really helping with this human trafficking thing that is not on the first page in any media. And so that to show those people who have influence in the world, either potential presidents or celebrities, whoever, people being in our society and having influence on us, also showing them in their humanity. Because if humanity is lacking, it creates violence, it creates hatred, it creates all of that. And then we get disconnected. So therefore, I said at the beginning when we started out, I don't want to abuse the system against them. And of course, I could say many, many different things, but also in respect for those two people, I don't, if they would be interested in a reading, I would say, okay, look, there you have to be cautious, or there you have to be cautious. Of course, it's like when I work with people, I analyze design on a way deeper level than what I mentioned right now in a YouTube video, but we confront also people with their not self or their Achilles heels, so that they know how to navigate and understand, okay, that is an Achilles heel of mine, or that I should watch that in my design. It's familiar, but always with this part of humanness and humanity and compassion. So yeah.
So important.
To that. I guess we're
Thank you
done
very,
today.
very much for your time, for your wisdom. Every time it's so crazy how much you can talk about human design. And I could listen for hours to you, or for days or weeks. So thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you shared with us. And I hope you enjoyed the time with Angelina. And yes, if you are interested in a special celebrity or in a special other person, which is, yeah, important or well known, you can write us, or you can write below the video.
In the
And
comment
yes, in the comments, and we will make a video about this person.
too, but always with respect. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maria. So yeah, as Natalie already said, we hope you enjoy it. We hope you have a glimpse into human design system. It's a very complex system, and it takes years to really study it, to master it, and deep humbleness also. It takes really time, and I hope you got a glimpse also into those two personalities, and who they are a little bit, how they are maybe portrayed differently, or what really is visible when you watch them through an interview, or if they are shown in the media. And we hope it inspires. And as we said, somewhere in between below, you can find a link and can get your own chart, because it's beautiful as it is to know Trump and Kennedy or other people in their design, and it helps us to understand them and have more compassion or connection with them through design, and not just some propaganda that we see in the world about them. In the first place, it's always important to know who we are, so that we live our potential, and so every one of us fulfills their potential. And as I said in the beginning, we all have a part to play in the totality. And the more we are grounded in our true being, in our true design, the more we serve whoever we are. A mother, someone who sells some apples at the corner of the street, or a president, it doesn't matter. And at the end, who we are, we all have our place in this totality and our role to play. And the more we are connected with our genetic human design strategy and authority, the more, we serve each other. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, so from my side, bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.